Okay. Good morning, everybody. Give it a couple minutes to get going here. Happy Saturday. Today we're doing a handful of Rokkors, but I'm not sure. I think there's some of these that need service before I do any mods, so we'll find out as I go through them. That music is way too loud. Sorry about that. Okay, that should be better. Good morning, Adelson. So the first one we're starting with is the 16mm, which is a pretty fantastic lens, all things considered. And there's a couple different versions of this, I think. I think both versions have this filter wheel, but this is a newer version. So it's got this really cool clicky filter selector. Very similar to the Leica 19mm, and I can't remember what other lens has a similar turret style, but this one achieves it in a very unique way. The Leica has essentially the three or four filters. One is a clear on one ring that sort of rotate in a circle, whereas this one, each filter is sort of offset from the axis and then gets flipped into place, kind of like when you go to the optometrist and they flip the little the different powered lenses down and the diopters. Is very similar to that. So instead of them all being on one rotating piece, these are individually operated, which is kind of cool. Something else unique about the Rokkors, they're extremely easy to declick. You just remove, and this one's already been removed. Someone just sort of jammed a screw in there to close the hole. But you just pull out the ball bearing, the spring-loaded bearing, and that will remove the clicks. However, it's still, whoever performed this didn't disassemble it to re-grease it. So yes, it's declicked, but it feels terrible. It's dry and loose. In fact, it doesn't even stay at 2.8. See that? See, it just springs straight to f4, f4.5, something like that. So we're gonna see if we can adjust that as well. I don't anticipate this ever being used on a Minolta camera for this particular client. So it might include disabling that mechanism, this mechanism right here. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it goes okay. Yeah, you can see your filters. There's the clear, yellow, orange, blue. I'd be curious to see what happens. Oh, this is neat here. So you can see the individual. I don't know if that'll show up. Oh yeah, it'll show up. You can see it sliding in. See it? Now it's in place. So it's out of place, and now it's going to go to the blue one, which will come from a different angle. See how it comes from, I guess, your left? And then if I go to the next one, it's going to come from the right or the top. There you go, from the top. And then the next one going to come from the right. There you go, see? So I've never tried projecting this or shooting with, you know, in between, right there, with no glass. But I suspect it just won't give a good result because you can't just remove a piece of glass like that and expect it to work well. That's why those filters, anytime you see a turret like that, it has to have a clear somewhere in there. Because if you remove that glass, that space, if you change that optical path, you're going to ruin your image quality. Hello from London. Hello, Damien. In London, it must be around dinner time, I think. I can never remember the time. In the office right next to me, there's a bunch of clocks that have, normally you see like London and Tokyo and Berlin or whatever, but instead we chose countries or cities where lenses are manufactured. So instead of London, we use Leicester in the UK. Instead of Berlin, we use Oberkochen for Zeiss. Instead of Tokyo, we use Aizu for Sigma. So it's a fun little twist on the clock wall. All right, let's dig into this, get this out of the way. Sorry about that. That might not even be small enough. Let's see what happens. I'm probably just going to use this guy. And then I know internally I need a very thin... Actually, that one might fit also. Let's see. Let's find out. Sorry, my audio levels keep bouncing all over the place. Okay. I think we're good now. Okay. I'm going to leave that in there only because somebody obviously jammed it in there for a reason. Probably just to keep dust out, but I don't have those original screws, so I can't properly replace it. I'm also going to leave this cap on because there's nothing that we're doing to the front of this. In fact, I think, now that I think about it, I think the description says that we're putting a front ring on this, but we are not. This might not reach. Yeah, it reaches, but I don't want to scrape up this sidewall. price of Leica R is going up every day. Sorry. It's supply and demand. It's never going to go down because you're never going to see more Leica Rs. Have you seen the TLS rehoused Lomo RFs? I have not. TLS touched a Lomo? Or are you talking about the Lomocrons? I don't know where my suction cup went. I can see some doublet separation. See that gunky edge inside there? That irregular edge? That's concerning. Hey, good morning, Phil. I have a feeling Minolta glass will slowly go up in value with all the newer mirrorless bodies. I agree. I'm certainly not going to try and start a GameStop revolution here, but the Minolta glass is underrated. It's still cheap. It's super small, super light. Yeah. There's no simple mount conversion. You can get adapters, but there's no hard conversions. Oh, there you go. This has been serviced. Got a scribe mark there. What Minoltas? These are mostly MCs, and I think there's one MD in this set. The Rokkors. See, that's what we need to fix, that spring back. I'm not sure why it's... Oh, I do see why. So normally, when this had the click stops, it would go all the way, and the click mechanism, the ball bearing, would hold it in place, wide open. But now that that's been removed, the spring mechanism is pushing it back. So, I don't know if we're going to be able to adjust that. Not without modifying this cam here. Maybe modifying that spring. Actually, one of those springs has to come out regardless. This guy has to come out. Can never have too many reference photos. Where's my work phone? It's gone. Okay. Okay. Let go. There it goes. Okay, so we might have to modify that. Maybe not. I'm hoping I could just modify the spring. Oh, that's a very strong spring. Yeah, see, there's the factory click mechanism, the detents. Good morning, George. Long time no see. I believe that the screw that they put in there might actually be harming. Maybe not. It might be okay. What's the scoop on Rokkors? Coincidentally, I just had my grandfather's Minolta SRT 101 pulled from hibernation and CLA'd. It's a different flavor of vintage. There's nothing particularly magical about them, but at the same time, there's nothing wrong with them. They're not usually my personal first choice, but I could definitely see that with the rising prices of everything else, FDs and contacts and like ours, how these could be appealing to a lot of people. Have you put a roll of film through that SRT yet? Is it possible to rehouse a Leica M40 2.0 to PL? It's possible, yes. Practical, no. That 40mm 2.0 would essentially be inside the PL mount, inside the camera body. So I would not recommend that. But yes, it is technically possible. I always have to be careful these days when someone asks if something is possible and I immediately say no just because I know it's not going to be worth it, and then 6 months later they come back and say, well, this guy did it in Russia, Poland, or whatever. It's not dissimilar from asking if you could put a Ferrari motor in a Honda Civic. With enough work, it's possible. It's not going to be economical or practical. I've got 6 frames left on the roll Tri-X. Ooh, nice. Unfortunately, the guy who seemed to not have gotten the meter calibration. Oh, bummer. Oh, very cool. I just got back scans from a roll of, what was it? HP? No. It's right here. Delta 400. That I ran through a very custom camera paired with the Kubrick 50mm.7, which was not easy. No viewfinder, no meter, no focus. So it's all guesswork. It redefines the term point and shoot camera. I'll share one image here real quick, but I have to put another roll through it because this roll was really just to test and make sure everything was functioning. Because there really was no way to determine where focus was, so I essentially just shot a bunch of different distances to find Okay, this is what the focus is set to. Give me 1 second here. There you go. There is one of my favorites in terms of exposure. The tree is completely out of focus. The focus was on the car, which I completely missed composition on. But it gives you an idea of, and this is probably at like, I'd have to look back through my notes. This is probably stopped almost all the way down, like I don't know, maybe 11-ish or something like that. And it's still just beautiful. So now that I have everything lined up, I'm going to throw another roll through the camera with the correct distance. And should be interesting. I'll definitely share more once I have something interesting to look at. But I don't think that photo is representative of what that camera and lens combination can do. If I bought one original K35 housing, 55 million, can I put the Canon FD glass? Not really. I assume you're asking because Steve Spears is selling his housings. It's not that easy. It's not a simple transplant from one to the other. Sorry, that's loud. Something is definitely scraping, and I suspect that it's the screw that they jammed in. Good morning, Johnny. What is your take on using projector lenses for filming with the right adapter? Taking lens, if you're talking about the anamorphic stuff, more power to you. It's not my cup of tea. Oh, that feels much better. That screw is definitely scraping. So we have to shave this down, or just not put it back in. It's just a random screw. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that out for now. Anyways, that said, I love the results that people are getting. I love the creativity and the homebrew aspect of using the projector lenses. I think that part of it is awesome. But if I was going to be shooting, it depends. If I'm just shooting something for fun, I think it's a great option. If I'm if my paycheck and my reputation and my crew are relying on a lens like that, I would probably choose something a little more reliable, a little more professional. unless it's a music video. Yeah. If the project is looking for something different and unique, and you have the luxury of, you know, maybe missing a couple shots and you can easily reshoot, or whatever the challenges of that lens are, then yeah, absolutely go for it. I think it's similar to Hateful Eight and the Panavision lenses. You know, if the lens offers something for the project that other lenses won't, for example, that vintage look, and you're shooting a project that calls for something like that, then yeah, absolutely. But if Hateful Eight was set in space and it was futuristic and what's his name? Oh my gosh. Richardson said, oh, I want to use these vintage Panavision lenses that are going to break down on set and we can't get replacements and we're going to have to stop production until it gets fixed. The producer probably would have laughed and said, no, I'm not okaying that. You're going to use something clean and modern and it's going to work, period. But since that project had the luxury of budget and being able to say, yes, this lens will contribute to the look of the film. Hateful Eights. Then yeah, it worked well, I think. I think that's the key takeaways. There's always a right lens for the right job. There's no bad lenses. But if you're trying to use a lens for the sake of using it and it's not right for the project, you're asking for trouble. Can you Cine-Mod my Leica R as an RF mount? I can. It's going to be way more expensive than just using an EF to RF adapter. That feels fantastic now. Oh, by the way, I use my Cine-Mod lenses on a film I have in Sundance right now. Ooh, nice. Turned out fantastic. Bummer I can't be at Park City. Your Cine-Mod, your Leica Rs? Is that what you're referring to, George? I am very pleased with this. Now I just need to make sure that f2.8 stays f2.8. Let's see. I think it's going to require modifying this spring. That's a very heavy spring. That should do it. Perfect. Look at that. So 2.8, it stays right there. Beautiful. Do you know the price of Leica R set Cine-Modded to rent in LA? I do not. I would recommend checking either ShareGrid or I don't know what rental houses have Leica Rs. I would start with ShareGrid or ask George. Maybe George rents his. $350. There you go. Oh, come on. There's such a huge difference in the springs here. This one's a huge, heavy gauge, and this is so tiny and delicate. Did I get it? Yeah, there we go. All of this for nothing, really. It's never going to be used again with the meter, or with the auto function. Okay. Hey Matt, good evening. So glad I caught the stream today. I have questions about lens rehousings. Do you mind if I hijack the stream? Not at all. That's why I'm here. It is incredible to me that Minolta 21 f2.8 is 5 to 6 times less than the contact size 21, almost as good as far as my research goes. Yeah, because people just know the name Zeiss and contacts, so I mean, you're not wrong. The Zeiss contacts is technically better. Good afternoon from Spain. Hello. Day is going good. It's only, what time is it? 10:45 in the morning. Johnny, thoughts on the Laowa 25 to 100 zoom? Have you had a chance to look at it? I've had a lot of chances to look at it. We've had many of them come through. I would say that if you were in the market for a 4x zoom, that's definitely the best value you can get right now. It's not going to be the best quality you can get, obviously. Don't expect miracles. But yeah, it's very good for Super 35. And I have seen, we just got our first batch of the full frame rear and anamorphic rears, and they do work pretty well, surprisingly well. I have the Minolta 3558 and 135 all in MD mount. Would love to send them for modification or rehousing. Any chance they could become PL mount? They could become PL mount. It would cost much more than the lenses are worth. I don't know that it's worth it. So Steven said, okay, so me and a friend are thinking to start a lens rehousing business in U. We made prototypes and they work well, but we're concerned about using cam follower system that is similar to Cook. Why are you concerned about that? That's what everybody does. Do you Cine-Mod the Ingenue 45 to 90? Yes, I do. That's a lovely lens. Can we use vintage lenses for feature film? No. Just kidding. Absolutely. What do you think about the Zeiss compact zooms? What else would compete in full frame at that price range? The compact zooms were definitely ahead of their time. They're sort of the oldest full frame cine zooms. Those started shipping. Let's see, what was it? Was the 28 to 80 the first one? I can't remember now. But those are over 5 years old. But they are very good. There's no question about it. The optical quality is good. They're a little heavy for what they are, but for a full-fledged cine zoom that covers full frame, you can't really go wrong with those. Comparable, there's not much else aside from something like the Ingenue EZs when they're in full frame mode. The next step up in terms of image quality, you're going to jump significantly to something like the Fujinon Permistas. What we suggest going for MD mount to camera MD to EF? I don't know, actually. Okay, Steven, back on your topic. We understand Keith was working on cam focusing for Cook. He improved it for TLS. Then Zero Optic adopted the design, and so did Whitepoint on one of your streams. You were unhappy about that. No, not at all. I don't know how Cook feels about it. I imagine they're kind of I don't know that the TLS improved the system. It's nearly identical to the Cook system. Same thing with Zero Optic. Alex was an engineer here before he started Zero Optic, and he had plenty of exposure to the Cook and TLS systems. And then Whitepoint, I'm not too keen on the way Whitepoint does it. It's not an exact copy, but it's very similar. I don't think that Cook could come after anybody for using the cam system. It's nothing new. Does the industry frown upon people stealing it? Yeah. I don't know, after so many people have done it, I don't know that it could be considered stealing anymore. I was a little worried when... you can't say that Keith had any rights to it. Yes, Keith worked at Cook. He had intimate knowledge of how those lenses were designed and assembled. But I don't think that Cook took any issue with Keith doing it, so I don't know why they would take any issue with anyone else doing it. Did you see Queen's Gambit? Yes, I did, and I loved the cinematography in that show. That was fantastic. The lighting, the lens work, the camera work, everything about that show was beautiful. Not to mention the set design, the costume design. It was top-notch. The guy I've been working with just got the Zeiss 28-80 from Duclos last month. Nice. Waiting on a job to put up so I could take it for a spin. Pop up so I could take it for a spin. Is the original Cook Speed Pancros and the rehoused ones are same? If same, how can I buy those lenses? It was very difficult to find those lenses. It's the same optical design, but you can't interchange pieces. And the mechanical design is completely different from the original Speed Pancros and the new Cook Pancro Classics. Matt, I think you're uniquely placed to review such films from a lens perspective. Yeah, my wife gets tired of that. You know, we'll be in the middle of a movie or a TV show and I have to pause it and go back and be like, look at this. This is not the right lens, or look at that, they did this wrong, or check that out, they should have done this. The critiquing gets old really fast. One that has stuck in my mind as an example for a long time is La La Land. There was a ton of hype about that, with the lenses they used and how they shot it and everything. And there's one scene in particular, when it's towards the end, sorry if anybody hasn't seen it, spoilers. He's picking her up in his car, and they're on the outside of a house, and the shot is from essentially across the street, facing the house, and the vignetting on that lens is so bad, I don't know how, it had to be an intentional choice. There's no way that they shot that scene and nobody noticed the vignetting. So it's a choice, but that was obviously their choice. I want to find that scene. Maybe I can screen grab it. I think I own the movie. That's just the one that sticks in my head the most because it was a lens choice that somebody made and they stuck with it. Which I applaud, but at the same time, I can't watch a movie and not notice something like that. I couldn't tell you what happened in the dialogue in that scene because I don't remember, but I remember that vignette. Did you see Robert Rodriguez directing episode of Mandalorian? There's a funky vignette flare, something on some of the shots, and didn't understand it at all. There was a lot of weird stuff going on in Mandalorian. Those were Panavision, large format Panavision, which is all over the place. The DP is on YouTube talking about Airy Trinity. Anytime somebody's on YouTube talking about Airy, it's a pretty good bet that they're being paid. Uh-oh. Hold on. That was the front door. Sorry. Is he still there? I should probably go get that. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, let me catch up with chat. Did Duclos lenses available in India? Is Duclos lenses available in India? We do not have a branch in India, but we get shipments from India all the time. Servicing cooks and TLS, is there anything you think could be improved to make technicians' life easier? No. Cook, well, some other newer stuff like the 5 eyes are pretty complex, but S4s and TLS stuff is very service friendly. You got me looking for that scene now. I don't know, I don't have a time marker, but it's towards the end of the movie when he goes to pick her up from her house. Speaking of picking out good and bad lenses, there was a video I did. It's on our channel now, but look for Owlbot and, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the other company. But just go back through the videos on our channel, and I did a sort of a guess that lens when there's a cheap lens and an expensive lens. It's always entertaining. Oh, you saw it. Okay, good. Yeah, that was a fun one. I was terrified of that. That was I'm sure I talked about it before, but that was risky. If I made a bunch of silly claims and got it completely wrong, it would have made me look like an idiot. But luckily I did okay. Because it was not staged or anything, so it was a little scary. Maximiliano, hello Matt, hope you're all well. Have you recently had in your hands a certain Ukrainian anamorphic full frame? I have. I assume you're referring to the Apollo from Zelmuse. I will say about those, I was pleasantly surprised at the mechanical quality and the optical quality. If you're looking for something that isn't perfect, if you're trying to get away from sort of the master anamorphic look and you want something that has character, then I would say that they are spot on. They had loads of character. They had plenty of quote-unquote flaws that people look for in an anamorphic lens. So if that's your goal, then I would say that they are a very good choice. I don't know what their delivery looks like. I don't know what the prices are. I'm not affiliated with them. Which actually might put me in a better position because I'm not under any NDAs or dealer agreements or anything. Rehouse SMC Takumar. I think Alex is doing Takumars, if I'm not mistaken. And Alex and I are still good friends. I have no interest in stepping on his toes, and he has no interest in stepping on my toes. Oh, I can't tell you how much better this feels after just a quick lube job. Oh, that cam might be out of place. I might have to do some adjusting. Oh no, I was worried because the blades, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. See how it looks like the blades don't quite open all the way? But there's a baffle right underneath them. How do I show this better? So even if the blades opened further, there would still be a physical block. But it looks like it doesn't quite close down all the way. Cook speeds are for Super 35, right? Not full frame. That's correct. Here's a grab of the Mandalorian vignette. There's nothing there. Maybe you could drop a link to it. I don't know if it's showing up for anyone else, but I don't see any images. I was curious about the construction quality of the Apollos. Like I said, I saw an early, not early, it was a production model. It was for a client. So it wasn't a prototype or pre-production or anything like that. I couldn't speak to longevity since it was brand new, but everything seemed to be very well built. double speeds are for larger than Super 35. So the longer Panchros will cover more than Super 35, but I still don't, they're certainly not designed to. Good morning, Marcin. Yeah, nothing really changes on this between F11 and F16. It stays the same. So that's going to have to be adjusted. That's pretty accurate. Your favorite movie? My favorite movie? I don't know. don't have a favorite movie. I think it's impossible to pick a favorite movie. YouTube doesn't allow links. Really? Looks like YouTube doesn't. If you have Disney Plus, it's around 13 minutes into season 2, episode 6. Okay. I can pull that up on my screen here. Disney Plus. .com/watch. Okay, you said season 2, episode 6. If anybody hasn't seen Mandalorian, first of all, why haven't you? Second of all, spoiler alerts, we're gonna watch Mandalorian season 2, episode 6. Whoops. Oh shoot, which one did I just click on? Chapter 6, The Tragedy. Oh, that's... Okay, so the DP that shot this episode in particular is... Dave... Oh my gosh. Skip recap. Okay, and then you said about 13 minutes into the season. Is it when they're fighting in the hills? The stormtroopers are charging out of the landing craft. Okay, let's see this. Oh, wow. I did not see that before. That's got to be a mistake because I only see it on one side. I wonder if that's a mistake with the volume. Yeah, let me do a screen grab. Well, it's kind of hard to see as a still frame. Let me see if I can do... I really hope... Oh, shoot. How do I get rid of... Oh, window. That's what I wanted. Oh, why is this so big? Well, yeah, whatever. It's gonna work well enough. Not this. That's an effect, obviously. I assume we're talking about when they're running out of... Sorry. Right here. Is that what you meant? Right there, right? If that's what you're talking about, I clearly see it on the left, but I don't see it on the right. So I wonder if 1313, is that where I'm at? 1309. I don't see a vignette here. Maybe a tiny bit. It's not terrible. I have to take all of that with a grain of salt, though, because of the volume. I know that the way the volume works, if they don't line everything up perfectly, it just pulls you out of it immediately. If anybody hasn't seen the sort of behind-the-scenes series that they do specifically for Mandalorian, there's one episode that's all about the volume and how they shot like 90% of the series. Definitely watch that. It's like square flares on both sides. I'm gonna have to watch it again on a better display. This one, it's deceiving because every time I pause, it does the player vignette where it darkens the edges. All right, this one is pretty much done. Make sure this is clean. It's gonna kill me now also because I cannot, for some reason, remember. It's completely escaping me. David Klein. God. Yeah, David Klein was B-Cam for most of season 2, and I think he shot all of that episode, if I'm not mistaken. Which, other fun fact for anybody that's an LA native, that specific episode, if I'm not mistaken, was one of the only episodes for the entire season where most of it was not shot in the volume. So I think the stormtrooper parts from inside the lander were probably the volume, but the scenes when they're up on the mountains and stuff, that is Chatsworth. That is 2 miles away from my office. Phil knows all about those mountains, right, Phil? Stony Point. It's either Stony Point or Rocky Peak, I can't remember. I think it's Stony Point. There's been so many westerns and stuff shot in the hills here in Chatsworth. Among other things. focusing mechanism on the Ultra Vistas is 2 cylinders at 45 degrees that can't provide the vertical edge. That's the front cylinder, I can guarantee. All right, 16 mil done. What's next? This is, what is this, 28. Also a 2.8, I believe. Yeah. That 16 took a lot longer than I expected. I'm almost out of time already. Yeah, see, this is... Oh, this is a plastic one. That's... no good. No likey. Same happens with Tadeo or crystals when using them on larger sensors than intended. I never noticed that massive reflection on the left and right edges before. Oh, you're not talking about a vignette? I was looking for a vignette. I'm definitely gonna watch that episode again later. I could talk to David and ask him if that was if it's something they noticed, if it's something that they just thought added to the scene. I don't know. I'm gonna ask him. So this one has the exact same issue. When at 2.8, it's trying to spring back. See that? It's not as bad as the other one, but that is an issue. We'll create a separate series where we just find lens aberrations, flares, vignettes, all sorts of things, and we'll critique scenes and try to figure out if it was intentional or a mistake. Yeah, this might require some special tuning because it's plastic on aluminum. For our rehouse lenses, we did the Angenieux Exacta as prototypes. We received complaints that they were too loud. Noise came from the brass rolling parts that carry optical blocks. Compared to a TLS speed panco when it was the same, did you ever hear people complain about the noise on Cooks? Yeah, we get complaints for stuff like that all the time, even after we've serviced it. I would love to know how Minolta came to decide that this one piece in the lens should be plastic and everything else is billet aluminum. What was that meeting? Was it a budget reason when they said, sorry, we've capped our budget for this lens, you're going to have to use an injection molded polymer? Or did someone say, oh, we should use plastic because... I don't know. I can't imagine why everything else is aluminum and then that one piece is plastic. Was it a part from another lens that they were able to recycle? Plan on getting a set of contact sites rehoused later on. Rehoused by who? Those are fantastic lenses on their own. Rehousing them could make them worse than they are just Cine-Modded. Do you feel the conversion of Nikon AFD to Canon EF is viable and usable? Yeah, absolutely. We do AFD conversions all the time, specifically the 17 to 35, 28 to 70, and 80 to 200 AFD. We convert them to EF, and we do the whole Cine-Mod very often because they were, prior to the manufacturers sort of catching on, they were fantastic full-frame Cine lens options. So for people that were early in the 5D era, or even the A7 guys that were using an EF adapter, that holy trinity, the 17 to 35, 28 to 70, and 80 to 200 was the go-to for a long time. Only reason is because I wanted to use them on PL mount. If a certain camera I liked had a PL mount, if I could get PL mount on a contact Zeiss without rehousing, I would. Nah, that's not really going to happen. If I'm not wrong, Caleb, DSLR video shooter, have a Nikon zoom set for video. I've only discovered your channel yesterday and this is amazing to watch. Welcome, James. Oh, whoever declicked this left the spring in the lens body. They pulled out the bearing and left the spring. Glad I caught that. Wow, that's dangerous. If that spring had got caught, especially in the plastic, that would have devastated the internal, the inside diameter, that plastic part. I have a feeling I'm not going to be happy with this plastic piece and this grease combination. I'm going to have to pull out a different grease, I think. Yeah, that's way too light. Because could still too loose with that grease. Yes. Not just that it would be loose, but also it would be jumpy. It would skip from stop to stop. It's a little better. Hopefully when I put this on, it sandwiches it and provides the right consistency, but I'm not that hopeful. I'm skeptical. This does have a little brass shim. Not necessarily for back focus, but I think that that's supposed to take up the play between the plastic iris and the aluminum body. Does that grease loosen up in higher temperature? It will. All grease will. But this is meant for a pretty wide temperature fluctuation. So it won't loosen up as much as a lower quality grease. Hey, that's not bad. It is definitely still pulling. See if I set it right at 2.8. Maybe not. It does a tiny bit. It's going so slow you can't really see it, but you could tell because I'm able to move it back to 2.8, or at least the end of travel. But looking at it now, the end of travel is actually past 2.8, and it pulls it back just in line with that witness mark. So maybe this is okay. Have you ever done work on a director? I don't know what you're asking. Matt, I think I asked you this, but not sure. Are contact size same as ZFs? They're definitely the same DNA, The Zeiss Contax lenses were made at the Cocina factory for Zeiss, and then Zeiss switched to the ZFs. So the optical design is practically the same, with minor changes. The mechanical design is nothing in common. Have you ever done work on a director's viewfinder? Yes. I have assembled more director's finders than I care to remember. My introduction to lens work was with my father back when he worked at Kish Optics, manufacturing or designing and manufacturing the Kish Optics Ultimate Director's Finder. And on my summer breaks, when I wasn't playing video games, I was with my father in his shop building the Ultimate Director's Finders. And would CZ and ZFs match well optically? They'll match okay, but the compact zooms will definitely... Or wait, when you say CZ, do you mean Carl Zeiss or compact zoom? I assume you mean the compact zooms. If so, then the compact zooms will definitely be cleaner than the ZFs. Oh, contact size. Yes, those will match fairly well. I wouldn't hesitate to intercut, within reason, the CY Contax Yashica Zeiss's and the ZFs. It's not going to be perfect, though. Especially because some of those contacts are, 40 years old, something like that? That's quite a big span in age. So this does feel better than I expected, but I don't know that it could be any better being plastic. Do Contax lenses tend to have less focus shift compared to Nikons? I've only tried the Nikons and thought they had quite a bit. Definitely, because most, if you're referring to the AFD lenses, those were autofocus, so they have to be kind of loose, kind of forgiving in terms of their mechanics. Whereas the Contax were fully manual, much more robust focusing mechanisms. I wouldn't expect to see much, if any, focus shift. Actually, I'm not sure. Are you referring to image shift or like shift when you're focusing? But either way, the actual focus mechanism on a Zeiss Contax will be much better than the AFD lenses. If you're referring to the AIS lenses, then they'll be very similar in terms of mechanical design. Matt, can you recommend where to get a T-stop machine? Alex mentioned he built one himself for Zero Optic. Well, we also built our own. Again, I don't mean to keep reminiscing, but another Kish Optics product back from the 90s was the Kish T-stop bench. If you can find one of those, that would be ideal. They definitely don't make them anymore. But that was another project that I built as a child, as child labor for my father. If you can't find a Kish T-stop bench, I couldn't begin to tell you how to make your own here on the live stream, but if you're making lens housings, you shouldn't struggle too much to make a T-stop bench. The alternative will be something like a Zeiss integrated sphere. I forget what they call theirs, but you're talking about a lot of money then. It's not the K8 or the K9. I don't think it's one of their K models, but Zeiss makes a T-stop machine. All right. That came out better than I expected, so I'm pretty happy with that. Hey guys, talking lenses. This one will be a little out of the league, but I'll ask like-minded nerds. Is the telephoto really that much better on iPhone 12 Pro versus iPhone Mini? I haven't tried the Mini. I have a 12 Pro, and I love all three lenses. They're fantastic compared to the 11 Pro that I had. Honestly, that's the only reason I upgrade phones these days is for the camera. I couldn't care less about the processor or I don't even know it has the LiDAR sensor. I don't care about that stuff. I just want the better camera. Oh, see, now it's moving more. It's still not going... Oh, there it goes. It's like at a 2:8:4 split now. So I might need to adjust that as well. And what is this one? 35. I think this is still a 2. 2.8. So this one has also had all of these I think have had the bearing removed. So technically it's declicked, but It's not lubricated. Is there any other? Yeah, I don't use a stiffer grease to prevent iris drift. Never, ever, ever. That's a all that does is slow it down. It doesn't remove it. I either swap out the springs or change the way the cam interacts with the pin, like this pin here. There's a myriad of solutions other than using a heavier grease. I never recommend using a heavier grease. $35, there we go. So can you guys change the ground glass for a viewfinder? Can we change it, or can we make a new one? We can definitely have ground glasses manufactured, but if you're talking about just one, then the cost is very high. When we were making the original Director's Finder, we made them in... I shouldn't say we, my father. They were made in dozens or hundreds, but if you want one made, that cost is going to skyrocket. So same exact thing on this one. They all have this issue. See that? So these are all either going to have that cam adjusted or the spring swapped out. Yeah, so that's the issue, is that steep curve right at the end on the cam. So it's not a cam in the sense that you would see on a like a Click S4 focus cam, but it's still the same. By definition, this is a cam, and this one has a really steep curve right at the end that when you relieve pressure, it just pushes it back. So we'll see what we can do. going to be tricky. Changing the ground glass, I shoot 235 and I believe my viewfinder is 185. What sort of director's finder are you talking about? An Airy. I would probably recommend sending that to Airy then. They should be able to swap that, no problem. Let's check that. I mean, we don't have the proper lubrication in it right now, so it might just be sticky, but it's working correctly. Good. That's progress. I'm definitely going to run out of time today. It's already noon. Did they take the spring out of this one? Oh, never mind. The whole thing was gone. Yeah. Hi, Matthew. Have you ever heard of Bellani? Fantastic Italian jazz player. Yes, I think so. I can't play anybody known. YouTube will strike it right away. I've had that on several streams. It's almost coffee o'clock. can hear the building cracking. Which usually means it's windy. But it doesn't look windy. Sometimes I wish I had windows in here, but I don't. I have no natural light. That's gonna feel very nice. Okay. Sorry, I'm covering it. This is another issue we run into often with Cine-Mod work. Just to get to this click mechanism, we exposed all of this dirt and dust and grime. Come on, focus. It's not gonna focus. There it goes. See all that? It's all pretty nasty. So I have to do my best to clean it up, but not put any into the lens. The only way to prevent that would be to do a full teardown. So it's not uncommon for us to get a lens like this in for a Cine-Mod. This should only cost a couple $100, but then we quote something like, 4, 5, 6 hours labor additional to take care of something like that, because it's required. We're not trying to gouge anyone or anything, but doing this without dislodging the dirt and the dust further into the lens can be tricky. and sometimes that's inevitable. I don't know what that is. Wow. That's either silicone or very old grease. Oh, that's grease. Wow. Look at that. Just black. How much time do you being modding lens? I think you're asking how long have I been modding lenses? About 20 years. For what we now call the Cine-Mod. Servicing lenses, repairing lenses, coming up on 25 years. The Cine-Mod started way back with a client that was doing macro work. I'm sure I've told this story before. This was back in the film days. He was doing IMAX work. And the work that he was 3D IMAX, if I'm not mistaken. And the shot required 2 lenses, 2 cameras, everything. And the macro work, they were so close together, he needed to be able to focus both lenses at the same time because it was 3D. And the best lens that he could find to use was vintage Nikon lenses. And so we did a bunch of modifications to get them to work properly with his camera and everything. And in order to drive the focus simultaneously on both lenses for focusing in 3D, we added gears to them. And then to get the filters, we added some front rings, and he wanted to be able to ride the stop, so we declicked the aperture. And we did it for those lenses. This must have been back in probably like 2002 or something like that. I don't remember. And he loved it. He showed some friends, and they got some modded, and then they showed some friends, and they said, "What can you do with these lenses?" And it just snowballed from there. I think I lost my music. End of the playlist. I need to have like a song that I recognize as the last song in the playlist. Alright, that worked really well. No backlash whatsoever. It just stays right at 2.8. So I am going to have to go back and adjust the, was it the 28, I think it was. I'm always hesitant to peel these off because I know that a lot of people consider them like a badge of authenticity. And if the owner of this lens hasn't peeled it off yet, he probably doesn't want to peel it off, so I'm going to leave it there. Even though it's like inside the barrel. But, oh well. Who puts them on? The factory. It's a Japanese past QC kind of thing. JCII, Japanese Camera something inspection, I can't remember. It basically says it was checked and it meets the standards back when it was made brand new. That needs a little more. Okay, that one's done. Even though I have, what, 4 more to do, 3 more? I don't think I'm gonna have enough time. What do we have here? 50. Depending on how well this one goes, I might have time to do the last couple. Oh, that one's even worse. Look at that. Oh, that was a short thread. This one's pretty grimy. Before I dive too deep into this one, just real quick for everybody that's watching, drop a chat below. Let me know where you're watching from. I see Brazil. We had someone from London earlier. Someone was asking about India. Give me a country or a city. Brooklyn. Spain. Very nice. España. London, very good. New York. That's it. Once all this COVID stuff is under control, I definitely need to make my way back to the UK. In typical lens geek fashion, I went all the way to the UK several times and never went to London. I only went to Leicester. India, LA. Oh, this one's different. Why did Minolta switch this up? Interesting. That's another really heavy spring. That's gonna be a problem. Suppose if I go to London, I could visit CVP. Mumbai. I'm very curious about this set, how the owner mixed the MCs with the MDs and how they match color-wise. I haven't done any color tests. I don't know. I think only one of them is an MD. And I'm not sure why at that. In fact, which one? It's not this guy, is it? No, that's MC. I think it's that plastic one. Yeah, the plastic one was the MD. I have a Helios 44-2 58mm with a misaligned focus ring. I wonder how easy it is to fix myself. Reasonably experienced with fixing things. Dive in. I have to say that with a disclaimer these days because we can't accept responsibility if you dive in because I told you to and then something breaks. So proceed with caution, I guess. When you say misaligned focus ring, do you mean the marks aren't matching up or it's tilted on the scale or something? Ah, okay. Last weekend, somebody was asking about whether or not we're going to start offering our mounts for sale. And the reason I'm so hesitant to offer instructional stuff is because our legal department has been going over that sort of stuff with the mounts that we're going to begin offering. Basically, if we sell these mounts, there has to be disclaimers that say that we're not responsible if you open up your lens to install our mount. So we've been talking about this all week because we are going to begin selling our F to EF mounts and our Leica R to EF mounts. I will buy a bunch and never hold you responsible if I mess it up. Thank you, Marcin. I'm pretty sure a YouTube comment is a legally binding agreement. Yeah, right, James? No, I can't argue with the legal team. We've had several lawsuits lately. Absolutely nothing to do with our work or our lenses. It's been like, this is probably not stuff worth sharing on the stream, but we had an ADA compliance lawsuit because our parking lot didn't have the correct markings on the ground, and it cost us a small fortune. But that's part of business. So when I go and say, hey, I want to sell these lenses or these mounts and have people open up their lenses, our legal team goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. So we had to remove the Phil Holland parking space reserved for Phil Holland. Sorry, Phil. Hey Matt, do you know any way to use projector lenses on PL mount cameras? I see them often adapted to M mount. Are you talking about projector lenses attached to the front of a taking lens? Because you can't use... if you're talking about like the ISCO stuff, it has to have a taking lens with it. If you're talking about a complete unit, then yeah, you just need to have the correct flange depth and you're good to go. A lot of those, I have begrudgingly parked on the street occasionally when you guys... Sorry, Phil. My apologies. For example, on eBay, Ingenue 65 f1.8 Y31 like a 6-bit M mount. Are you saying you want to use that as the taking lens and then add a cylinder or an anamorphic front to it? That won't work because that lens is M mount. You can't go backwards like that in terms of flange depth. That's a very shallow flange depth. As soon as I'm done here, I'm gonna go home and do the exact same thing, but on keyboards. I believe I have some components at home waiting for me on a new keyboard build. I admire how patient you are modding. It's so peaceful. Thank you. It's always been enjoyable for me, as long as things are going well. There's definitely times where a mod is not going well and it's a nightmare. But those days are few and far between. Ugh, this has some junk in it. All right. This one's almost perfect. That should be good. Let's find out. Looks good. Holding wide open. Very nice. No drift at all. Oh, that is too tight. That's not gonna work today. That needs to be trimmed. So that will get done. Oops. All right. That'll do it for today. I did not finish, but it is Saturday, so. That probably end up going back in the other lens. Thank you guys for hanging out and the questions. Always more fun when there's questions and discussion. That's that. Thank you, Johnny. Have a good weekend. What was the biggest surprise you had after opening a lens? The spider lens. I know I've shared it here before. A lens, a Nikkor, I want to say it was an 800 telephoto. It was being used on Survivor Africa. Came to us because the image was soft, and it's because a spider had spun a web inside the lens. And when it got to us, we took a look down the barrel and the spider was still in there, still spinning webs. That was terrifying. So I don't want to mess with African death spiders. So we burned it. We torched the hell out of it. That was probably the biggest surprise. So, yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. Please subscribe, it helps. And hopefully we'll see you next weekend.